Oh, hello, everyone. Welcome into the PHNX Rising podcast. Appreciate everyone joining us here on a Thursday.
Yeah, it's a Thursday. Isn't this the day that you decided was going to be Kit Thursday? Where's your kit, mate?
I like to think the kit is inside of all of us. Can't even get through the intro without the big Oracle, the big Oracle.
Where is this coming from?
That's now your new nickname. We're going to workshop it.
No, it is not.
The big Oracle. There we go. Mr. Owen Evans. How we doing, guy?
I'm going again. Bye.
It's nice to have you back. We've missed you from a technological perspective, from just a friend, just a buddy perspective. It's been great. Nope, come back here.
Walking Max through a camera on a roadcaster.
Ooh, oh man, and we have the big tuna, Mr. Jacob Franklin.
What is that nickname?
I don't know. We're just throwing him out there, seeing what sticks. And
yeah, that is the name of a company.
See, I knew this was going to. See, this is a very fair point. I knew this was going to come up. That's why it's the Oracle. It's
No. It's
I make the rules.
you don't make the
number one.
rules,
I make the rules.
Max.
Number two, again, how many times do I have to
No.
say when I say any brands, I'm prospecting. When anyone else says it's no free ads, there's a big difference here. There's a big difference.
Yeah, but then that can't work, can it? Because it's meant to be a nickname. So if only you say it, it doesn't work.
Yes, but again, it's not.
Like,
But
it just sounds like a guy who's being a tryhard.
This is where we go back. This is where we go back to. It was never a free ad in the first place.
It was.
So either way, I win.
It was.
Either way, I win.
A free ad.
Either way, I win.
And yes, I am tired. I'm tired of listening to Max already.
So I'm ready to We've only been in the same room for like 2 hours.
I know.
It's been great.
I know. You've been enjoying the cricket, mate? We had some T20 cricket on over there.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't really know what's happening, and I'll be real.
We'll sit you down at some point. And teach
I
you
now
how
know
to
more
lose.
than Max.
He does know more than Max. Yeah, Jacob. We were teaching him some earlier.
To be fair, I was maybe watching for a combined 20 seconds. I was working.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, shout out Papua New Guinea, who are already 5 wickets down. They've only scored 30 runs.
What does that mean?
They're playing against Afghanistan.
I could explain it to you, Max.
You can explain what's that mean?
No,
5
we're
wickets?
not. This is soccer.
No,
pod.
we're
Wait a
not
minute.
gonna
Let me get
explain it.
hold on. Let me get this straight. I'm not allowed to say a nickname that is hyphenated, and yet we're allowed to talk about a sport that is also the name of a brand that is technically a competitor with who we're running across PHNX. We're not going to even talk about that.
We're a sports company. We're talking about sports things.
Oh,
Max.
here we go.
I feel like that's
here
kind of
we
the brand,
go.
is it not?
Okay.
We don't say we can't talk about the Premier League because they have sponsors that are.
Yeah, but we're not saying
contrasting.
the
We don't say we
insert.
can't talk about USL because they have sponsors that contrast with ours, do we?
But that's different. We're not talking.
No, we're talking about cricket. It's a
United
sport.
Soccer League. That's not a partner name. Cricket is a partner
Cricket's
name.
a
That's a free
sport.
ad. It's also a
Nice.
brand name.
Well, it's only a brand name when you bring up the brand, which
Oh
you just
boy,
did.
this
If we were
is.
just talking about the sport,
I
then
guess-
we just have a load of confused Americans.
I guess we didn't say the part that rhymes with schmireless, which maybe would confuse that further. But hey, we got a great pod.
You're giving people.
I did it. I said it rhymes with it.
All right, let's actually
we
get on
got
track
a great
for
pod
once.
for everyone. We will finally get back on track.
Yes, it did.
Oh, this is fair. But it was Bluebird. No, we got a good one for you guys. Oh, and I gotta ask first off, you were watching for, I mean, at least the first half and what the whole match, and you texted us.
I watched the whole match.
You texted us at the end of the first half and being like something along the lines of, "Oh dear gosh, what is this match?" And then what was your feeling coming out of the second half and into full time?
Mate, I woke up at 5 a.m. to watch that
you did.
game in Bratislava, okay?
In Bratislava.
Yeah, from a hotel room, watching it in Bratislava. And yeah, on YouTube. Great stuff. No, it was... Yeah. I pieced together about as much of it as I could in that slightly sleepy state. But, I mean, it was fine. It wasn't the most convincing of games, was it? That's the thing, right? Like, you look at the early second half and some of the comments from Danny today in the press conference. We'll have some clips for you later from that press conference. But some of the comments made was like, yeah, you thought they came out okay at the start of that second half, but then when you look at some of the numbers and the fact that all the shots were going Orange County's way, I mean, obviously there was some stuff that was, not ideal. The lighting situation, I think, that night, which you'll know more than I did because I was just relying on what I was seeing on the TV, but not great.
Not great.
It's
kind of scary. Honestly, on the real, could have been
But I mean,
scary.
at the end of the day, right, 3 points is 3 points.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, Edgardo Rito, I thought.
Power Rito to you?
No. I mean, for what he did in that game, he had some contributions when he was playing. But I mean, there are other words you could use to describe Rito. I think after that game, than the nickname that you've given him.
This is fair.
For decision making after getting a yellow card to then immediately kind of continue on with, talking about how, I mean, he gets a sending off for foul and abuse, offensive, insulting, abusive.
Sure.
It's just bad judgment.
Yeah.
And Danny acknowledged this today and said, look, Rito's acknowledged this to the group and knows that he's got to display better judgment in those moments. Yes. Even if he feels aggrieved, I didn't think he had a whole lot to be aggrieved about. I thought it was pretty soft. Same as I thought that the handball shout was pretty nothing really of note there. I don't think that either of those two penalty shots were particularly convincing to me. If they were wrong, they weren't egregiously wrong. Yeah. There's a lot there. Look, again, 3 points is 3 points. You take it, especially after some of the struggles that we'd seen previously. I think the biggest thing really was seeing Dariusz, of course, getting on the score sheet and knowing what that can mean for a striker. Yes. So, especially one who's struggled at times this season. The fact that he had to step up, replace Remy Cabral in this game with Remy out injured. Big in terms of just getting him off the mark and seeing him be able to provide in that kind of backup role. And be able to find the back of the net and hopefully now, from a Rising perspective, you look at doing that consistently going forward and finding ways to consistently find goals. But we'll have to see, right? Again, was it some huge, I feel relieved now? No, I don't think it was at all. Was it 3 points at home? Yes. Yeah. And so you take the positives from that, you move on, and realistically, they have to keep building on this.
They do. They absolutely do. Again, we were saying it on postgame. That's what you call scenes. No matter how you look at it, no matter how this team is going to give you the twists and turns, kind of take you on the roller coaster. It was quite a spectacular finish, given the circumstances, given even just within recent matches, right? It was cool to see how they finish. And it's just one of those matches where you're happy you see it in person. The South End was absolutely electric. And we'll go from there. But yeah, it's onward to... It's onward to El Paso, and, it's Rising going for, dare we say, 2 wins in a row?
Oof. Tell you what, should we take a video here?
Let's do it.
This is Rising coach Danny Stone talking on, I asked him, they've struggled to string wins together at times this season. How important is it to make it 2 in a row this weekend? Here's what he had to say.
Yeah, very important. And again, we've mentioned this previously, and we've spoken about this again this week, that every time we get 3 points, the following game can really compound that and make it make last week's 3 points even better. And we go into the game this weekend with a target of claiming 7 points out of these last 3 games in the league that we've played. And so absolutely, yes. I mean, to be consistent team that get wins is absolutely the next sort of piece of evolution, I think, for this team. So not just to be a team that is ever satisfied, and we're not. We're not satisfied when we don't put back-to-back wins together. Don't get me wrong here, but this is something that is a big focus again here now. And the energy that it took last week in the end to win a game will be required again. This is, again, I've never been, same as I said honestly about Vegas a couple of weeks ago, I don't think I've ever been away to El Paso and it's been a comfortable time ever with any team that I've coached for. So it's going to be another hot place, probably dry conditions, and again a team that are on a good run of form more recently, and it will be a tough game. And so everything that we had to put into the game last weekend to achieve 3 points, we have to do it again this week. And that's where as players and as coaches, energy levels going into games, and this is mental as well as physical, we're going to need every ounce of it, and we're going to need everybody's energy as well to go and get 3 points.
I think it's one of those things that, even though this season has been very choppy, all it takes is a win to kind of help try to set the stage for another one. And while that's easier said than done, a match like that where you really are kind of down and out for a bit, first you have the lead, then it gets given up, and then you're down a man. In those circumstances, it's very easy to fold and everything like that. And listen, we're not saying that, Rising mentality is now elite or it's not elite or anything like that, but to be able to do that even in that one game scenario, it can be something to build upon. And momentum in this league, as we know, is such a precious darn thing. Rising has had it at points last year. Then at points they lost it. We're going to see how this impacts El Paso.
Well, there's lots of things in there really from Rising's perspective when you look at it, just in terms of, we can talk momentum. We've seen this team struggle in certain ways throughout this season, and it's not just on field. We've seen some, obviously there's been, I know it's not always the happiest of morale there, right? And it won't be with some of these players. Knowing the kind of egos that exist within the squad when things aren't going well. Winning covers up a lot of potential issues that you can have in a team. Winning is important for those reasons. You look at it now, and it's of the last 4 games, they've won 1 of them. I think.
Sounds about right.
One draw in there as well. One draw, 2 losses. Not ideal, but you can turn that corner a little bit now. And again, right, you've got a difficult game after that. Charleston home, not an easy match to come up against when they come back home after this El Paso weekend. That makes this one pretty important. Now, we'll get into El Paso a little bit more, I'm sure, in a little bit now here. But when you look at where El Paso are in the table, and probably not justifiably, to be fair, given the quality in that team, but it's where they are right now. It adds a little bit of pressure, doesn't it, really? From Rising's perspective.
It does. I mean, right, we've been, and I know we're going to do a little bit of a deeper dive in El Paso later on in the show, but right, they're bottom of the table.
Yeah.
Bottom of the table. They're not what you'd call a good team, even though given the manager shift, and they're on a bit of a new manager bump now. So it's relatively fair to say compared to the rest of their season.
Very true.
It's going to be one of those things for Rising is how are they going to approach this one, right? Because, we were saying on Tuesday's pod, and this was, again, good stat digging by Stat Like You Reese, is that Rising has very much altered their lineup from match to match pretty often throughout the season, even if
there's very rarely a consistent
that's just it. He took the average of, even if you take out the matches that were affected by Open Cups, the 2 Open Cup matches, as well as the 2 matches, USL matches from those Open Cup weeks. You take out the 4 matches that are essentially taken out from the mids match week, you are left with about an average of near 3 changes per starting 11. Only twice this year has Rising gone into matches with back-to-back same starting 11s at different points. Listen, man, there's obvious guys who could be in the lineup that weren't featured, in Saturday's match, and it's going to be interesting to see who they roll with.
Yeah, but how many times has Rising had, A, they've had injuries.
They have.
B, how many times has Rising had many convincing games so far this
That's
season?
the other part.
That's the key thing here, right? So it's understandable. The problem then is you get into this kind of awkward mix-up then of what do you do? Do you make changes because the game's not necessarily convincing? Or do you not make changes because constant chopping and changing with the lineup will also not help with stability, with finding ways to get used to each other and get a coherent game plan and get a consistent game plan, and but knowing that maybe in the shorter term it may hurt.
Absolutely.
And it's complex, right?
Yes.
It feels at times, with a couple of games accepted, as though this team is often, it feels like sometimes it goes in with a little bit of short-term thinking.
Yeah.
Kind of the we need a win this weekend kind of approach, rather than thinking to build for a couple of weeks down the line. And this is hey, it's Phoenix Rising, right? We know that the pressure ramps up here if stuff's not done quickly. If stuff takes time, the pressure ramps up. It's not an easy place to build a project necessarily, because there's this expectation of success. And that's only added to when you win a title like this team did last season. But sometimes, again, like, it just causes these cases where when Racing haven't managed to be thoroughly convincing in many of these games, you kind of just chucking stuff at it and seeing what's going to work and not building. I mean, we saw that sometimes with Owain, and we raised that a few times, I feel, about the team kind of trying to build too hard in one way or another rather than moving on because it didn't seem to work. This feels like on times, even though the base project isn't necessarily changing, it feels like on times is a lot of chopping and changing in a way that either is... I don't know whether that's partly trying to work out what exactly is going to work without sticking to an idea too long. I don't know if that is managing. I mentioned there are egos on this team. I don't know how much of that is managing egos, because that can be a big part of this as well. There's a lot of different parts that go into that. And yeah, it's hard to tell sometimes quite which it falls under.
It is. And I mean, again, talked to it a bit further on Tuesday, it's also where a lot of these changes are coming from. And like, listen, we're all for, if something is not working right, I totally understandable. The human reaction is to want to try to shift things. There's nothing wrong with that. I think it is, though, it's when you're changing so many different areas, there is something to be said of, right, this isn't like a FIFA video game, and nor saying is anyone saying that it's being treated that way, but right, like, you can't just put out the most talented or best quote unquote starting 11 and hoping that's going to work. There's been a lot of changes at different areas throughout the season, right? Again, we said within those matches that are impacted by the Open Cup, an average of about 3 changes per match. You're seeing it where these are impacted. It's a lot through the midfield. At some matches, we've seen 4 changes, 6 changes. Even at the least, outside of the changes where there were the matches where there were no changes, the least amount of changes you're getting is only 2 changes per match. So essentially what that's saying is it's not like last season where maybe you get 1 rotation or 1 guy in. Maybe it's a guy who's short on fitness. Maybe it's giving a guy a break where you know you're consistent starting 11. We've been seeing, I'm not going to say wholesale changes, but you've been seeing multiple positions at multiple levels being impacted darn near every single match this season.
Well, it's because we can point to several parts of this team and say that we don't know who the planned starters necessarily are. I mean, the centre-backs, we kind of know who they probably are if everyone's fit. Obviously, they haven't always been fit. The wing-backs, we've seen a fair amount of change. Is Azakar one of the starters? Is Rito one of the starters? Mm-hmm. Is Gabby one of the starters? Yeah. You can play Gallardo in that kind of role. I mean, there are other options as well that you could have there. I mean, if you go with the more of the back 4 like they had, you know, I mean, how are you putting that one out there? You can look then to also towards midfield. We've seen the midfield struggle at times. Renzo Zambrano, Jose Hernandez. Is that the pairing that you really want in there? Obviously, Giulio D'Artiotto knocking on the door a little bit there. We haven't seen him as of late. A little bit disappointing, of course. He is a player who I think we've seen some interesting flashes from. He's also a player who, I mean, look, when we look at the off-season, I think it was no secret that he was one of the bigger promised acquisitions. Mm-hmm. I'll put it that way.
Sure.
There was a lot of excitement around him. There was a lot of effort from the club. They sent a 3-man delegation to Turin to get this guy's signature. Mm-hmm. They don't do that. No. This team doesn't do that. What does that tell you about the promise in this guy? The fact that they sent the manager, the president, and the sporting director to go chat with him and sell him on this vision. We haven't really seen him in these last few games. It's disappointing, I think, in a lot of ways, because he does have a good amount to offer. 3 games now, I think we haven't actually seen him play a minute, if I'm not mistaken. Didn't play in Vegas, didn't make the 18 in Vegas, didn't play this last weekend, didn't play in Indy.
My word.
Yeah, 3 games without a minute. I think we need to see a little bit more of Julio. And then you get on to like the attacking midfielders, come wingers, come whatever you want to call them in any given moment. But you got Panos, you got Emi, you got Fede, you can play Gallardo there. And the amount of changing in those positions that we've seen. The only one stable 2 positions, really, I feel. A Rocco in goal and Cabral up top when they're fit and available, of course.
The only person outside, when you take into account, again, those matches where we're taking them out because the Open Cup, only one player, Tire Rising Squad, who has played in, or started at least in every single match, is Renzo Zambrano. So it's kind of an interesting one, right?
Other than Rocco.
No, even Rocco had one in there.
I thought he played all of them except the Open Cup, didn't he?
Yeah, but there was another one that he also
Really?
sat in.
I didn't think so.
Hold on.
Don't tell me I'm losing it now.
We might be.
I didn't think Rakovsky's played a game in the league this season.
Reese hasn't. Oh, Reese, you put him in for. Nope,
Yeah,
you're right.
He hasn't played a game this season.
Got it. My bad. Outside of the Open Cup, I misheard you. Okay.
Outside of the
Yes.
Open Cup.
Outside of Open Cup, yeah, it's just been Rocco and Rocco's not going to change. All else being considered. But yes, one of the only field players, Renzo Zambrano, has been the only guy who has been unchanged outside of those Open Cup affected matches. But it's kind of going back. Who do we want to see from this starting? Not just starting 11, but even including the squad. Because, you've seen from this last match, that again, we've said it so many times, Dariusz Formella can play the number 9 position.
No,
it's maybe not his best position because he's so
going.
But he's so great at those late arriving runs, and that's really what he's specialized in with both of those goals. He was able to pick his moments. He had those one-touch finishes, but it's because he has that scorer's instinct. And even though you have that scorer's instinct, you don't necessarily have to be in that number 9 position. So again, we've been saying it how many times, how often we would love to see the combination for a sustained period of time. Remy Cabral, Dariusz Formella, Panos Samonakis in those positions, in that triangle. We want to see that for a long period of time. We haven't really seen it this season.
Yeah, but do you play Dariusz Formella in that? Because it hasn't succeeded so far this season. No one do him out wide.
But I think it's been inconsistent given the time he's been away, given where he has had to be up top.
There's a lot of things.
I think we can go back this entire argument.
We can go back to last season if you want. When have we seen Dariusz play well out left? I know he says
I'm not saying up left. I'm
Okay.
almost kind of saying like something a little bit more inverted where he's squeezing inside. Where he played last season for Spurs, that was almost like a wing back role. That's not what I'm saying.
He'll tell you if you ask Dariusz where he wants to play, and that came up today in the press conference. Dariusz will say probably left wing, more in a back 4 system. And I'm guessing a large part of that is because when you have the wing backs, it kind of messes around with things a little bit in those wide positions. He's open to playing wherever the coaches ask him to play, but that's the thing that gets me. I don't know what the best option there really is.
Yeah.
Do you start with Formella in those positions? Do you look to someone else?
I don't know. That's the other thing too, is then you kind of ask the question of like, listen, Remy Cabral has been very solid throughout the season, but then do you take out the hot hand? Call it what it is. Like Dariusz Formella, bags a brace. He's a USL Player of the Week. And you would take him out of starting a lineup or even within that position. Like that's another argument you could very much make.
Yeah. You also ask him, where's Emmy?
That's a fantastic question.
2 games out of the squad. Where's Emmy?
That is a fantastic
in the plans
question.
now, at least as well. Where is Emmy?
Yeah, it's a good question. Maybe he's been at Circle K this entire time. Circle K, maybe that's where we can find Emmy Quajo. He's going maybe getting that little Polar Pop, right? That 79-cent Polar Pop. It's just a phenomenal thing you can get within the Valley.
Far worse.
Wow.
Like kind of pun in there.
Oh, because so many. Circle K is one of the best places you can be. Absolutely.
I know. Circle K up here, max ad transitions down here.
They're pretty darn good. That was pretty smooth.
I filled up at Circle K today.
That was pretty smooth.
Yeah, went to the press conference. I did.
Oh, a little gas.
Yeah.
Did you fill up your mouth with a Polar Pop too?
I didn't at the time, no.
Oh,
no. I was in a rush. Well,
you silly guy.
Just about had time to fill the car up, but I did fill the car up.
Oh, that's fair. Well, you fill the car up at Circle K with your Inner Circle program. Again, download the Circle K app, opt in with that phone number, save 25 cents off per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups, then save up to 3 cents per gallon, even going up to 5 cents per gallon every time after that. And then, of course, you can fill up your mouth with that 79-cent Polar Pop. There you go. Any size, only 79 cents. If you're an Inner Circle member, 69 cents. That's a pretty darn nice deal. Check out our friends at Circle K at participating locations. See store locations for details.
Circle K's on the Rising Pride shit as well. warm up.
Yeah, they were last year as well.
Yeah.
On the warm up. Yes. Shout out our friends as well as OG's brands pairing well with nice little Circle K, a little polar pop, if you will. Check out our friends at OG's brands. They got the sativas, the indicas, the fruits, the creams, the big OGs, the RSO.
You know, there was some chat in here earlier, and I feel like I'm gonna bring it in now.
Oh boy.
There was a chat there with Damon was sitting around, Derek was in, and they were saying, just imagine this now as pop some OGs, go to the zoo. I'm not naming a specific zoo, and just go watch some of the animals. Like just sit there and watch the apes. Gorillas. They were talking about this as what a day that would be.
That's what. Okay, I thought I overheard that, and I was like, "This is a fever dream. I must be daydreaming."
This conversation was happening here. Damon is currently like asking, "Why would you question this?"
I'm not saying anyone is questioning it.
No,
That's
Damon, you feeling that, aren't you, Damon? He's walking over.
He's walking. He's sauntering over.
Who
wouldn't like to do that?
There we go.
It sounds like a good old day at the zoo. Yeah.
Qualify that as good OG's time?
I think it'd be great OG's time. OG's with your OG's, man. There we go. Well, shout out our friends at OG's Brands. Again, you can check them out online at ogsbrands.com. Follow them on socials at OG's Brands. You must be 21 years or older to enjoy responsibly. Okay, so we talked a little bit about Phoenix Rising, their perspective. Again, very much outlined. Solid win, I guess, from the result. A little bit chaotic, but you want to talk about chaos. We're talking a little bit about El Paso.
El Paso.
That locomotive, they off the tracks, man. But kind of back on. It's been a weird season for them, right?
Yeah.
Goodness, man. They're kind of getting after it a bit with, little not caretaker manager, a little interim manager, the new manager bump, Wilmer Cabrera.
Well, he's a new manager, not really an interim.
Well, you know what I mean. Wilmer Cabrera at the helm, right, in their 3 matches with him in charge. It goes as follows: a win, a loss, and a win. Notable, though, the loss was the only one of those 3 that was at home, where they play Phoenix Rising. So we'll have to see. It's going to be interesting.
Though there's been a 10-day break for them now, which is good for a new manager to get a little bit of extra time almost for the squad, help try and reset things.
Or for rest to set in.
They're better than they've been. I mean, right. We're mentioning now the new manager. Let's have a listen to Danny Stone talking about El Paso and their appointment of Wilmer Cabrera.
Listen, I think in watching them, and we watched back through them earlier in the season as well, they're a squad of good players that have had good players throughout the season, and although maybe didn't get some results, have still played well. I think with the change of coach, with Wilmer coming in, it's quite normal. Obviously, we see that very regularly, that has a change in energy maybe, and players then, it changes everybody's circumstance a little bit from a playing point of view, where players who maybe have been less involved feel they have an opportunity, players who have been more involved maybe feel that they have to re-establish and show again that they deserve to be in the team. And it's a normal thing that produces some heightened competition within the group, and obviously, like I say, an injection of energy. And Wilmer's a good experienced coach. I've known Wilmer for many years. Coached his son actually as well at the Rapids, so know the family relatively well, and Wilmer has a good experience, and I'm sure has added a good injection of energy into that group from the coaching style. But this is a normal thing, and since he's come into the club, they've had some good results, and they've had, I think, an injection of effectiveness that sort of layers on top of what we know was already a good squad of quality players. So it's not really a surprise to see it, but credit to them for the way that they've reacted to that change in coaching position over the last few games.
It's a bump, man. A little bit of bump.
I mean, they are a better team than...
Small sample size, but you'll take it.
No, but they are. We said this from day one. We were saying early doors that we thought they were a dark horse in this league. They're currently bottom of the West. Okay? Let's be real. They're a better team than their position reflects, and I think everyone pretty much is agreeing on that in terms of inside the team. They all agree that this is going to be a difficult one against El Paso because the table doesn't really tell you quite where they should be. Now, I will add that we don't know quite what we're going to get from them because they've had a couple of players away on international duty. We don't know where they're at in terms of being here, being in El Paso, in terms of rest, in terms of all things like that. Obviously, Jamali Waite in goal has been away with Jamaica. Amanda Moreno with El Salvador. Joaquin Rivas with El Salvador. Moreno's a big one, of course. 5 goals for them so far this season. 12 chances created overall. That's an important one if they don't have him available in there. I mean, yeah, it's not easy when you're dealing with multiple call-ups.
No, it's very much. I mean, listen, this team, the form can only get better when in your first 11 matches you're winning 1 match, and it's against Loudoun. So, right?
I mean, of course, they're playing a game tomorrow, El Salvador, aren't they? I don't know what the squad they've got for that one is.
Yeah,
they're playing Peru.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting, right? You mentioned a couple of the key players. I mean, we'll zoom in on the key players in a second, but let's actually look at just like kind of...
And then Jamaica in the Copa America as well. So, I mean, again, who really knows what's going on with that squad?
Really knows. No, again, the squad, smaller-ish sample size, but again, you mentioned they're a dark horse within the league, right? You're looking at the, kind of the first 11 matches compared to these recent 3 when the new manager change happened. Goals per match, 0.82, worse than the USL, bumps up to 1.33. The XG per match, and this is all on the attacking side, right? 0.97, so you're getting in front of goal and all that stuff. It's even less than 1 goal per match. New manager bump goes back up to 1.11. Shots on target per match goes a little bit lower, but then the total shots does go up. Defending, I mean, also, there's some improvements there. You're facing less shots on target. You're then conceding more shots on target. It's a bit of an up and down, but really where it comes down to is in those 3 matches since it took over, it's been effective XG getting in front of the ball. And then again, shots on target, you're just seeing that go up. The field tilt has been there in the most recent match, but it's a small sample size. The stats also don't necessarily back that up. But again, if you're able to get the dub, that's better than what they were doing beforehand. You already have 2 wins in your last 3 matches. That's better than what you had in the previous 11.
Yeah.
So you'll take it where you can get it.
No, you will. And again, I mean, we kind of knew when they brought Wilmer Cabrera in, right? Steady enough pair of hands. You look at what he did in RGV, and is it necessarily the most, impressive? Probably not if you look at it without context. When you remember the fact that RGV never really spent money ever, and yet he consistently had them competing,
kind of hovering
Even if
around.
They didn't make it into the playoffs. They were always in there with a game or 2.
They were in the
play
discussion
at the end of season.
Yes.
And when they got in there, sometimes they pulled off some upsets. Of course, they beat Rising.
They did.
Down at Wild Horse Pass. So, look, he's a competent manager who is not going to necessarily play the flashiest, most exciting football, but it will be football that's effective, at least more effective than they were previously playing under Brian Clough, which is not difficult because at the start of the season, they just weren't good.
Sure. And
they weren't getting results when they needed them with the quality of the team that they have. They weren't able to get results. So, look, for them, at this point, huge improvement. And I think they will start to climb up that table.
It will.
I'd be shocked if they stayed down.
And also, again, like, lest we forget, this isn't one of those things where you can just judge a team by their cover. Oh, they're maybe not scoring much goals. That means Rising has an advantage. In theory, yes. But again, we've seen Rising, not only do they play down to their competition at times, but some of these teams who maybe they're not as attacking, free-flowing, they sit down and then they sit on the counter. We saw what happened against Pittsburgh, for example. Like, we've seen Rising struggle against these types of teams, these ones who maybe don't have the biggest front foot, who are going to be a little bit more prone to sit back, muck it up, make it ugly, searching for that first home result under the new manager. Like, this is not one where, I mean, you can't take any of these matches for granted. How many times do I have to say it? But you can't just look at the overall record and say, wow, this is going to be a gimme against El Paso. Like, no. This is something where Rising is going to have to struggle a bit to try to get this one.
Yeah, it's never really an easy game in El Paso. There's a few reasons for that, right? They've often been a team that have been kind of a competitor in that kind of like maybe 5th through 8th kind of space in the West, right? That's been the kind of team they've often been. I mean, it's a baseball field. It's often touted. I know they like to think they have the best baseball field stadium.
That is hanging in the rafters. Best baseball stadium in the USL, baby.
I was having listened to Gabby Torres talking about baseball fields and what he had to say on that.
These are definitely not ideal scenarios, especially for our health. I don't think it's adequate for us to play in those type of fields. but it's something that we need to adjust, and we cannot use that as an excuse. We just need to go there and to perform at our best despite the circumstances.
I mean,
You ain't wrong.
I mean, the man, no lies detected, as
He
they
has a
say.
point.
Shoot.
Yeah, look, baseball fields are baseball fields. They won't take them as excuses, but it's never the easiest when you're dealing with that kind of temporary laid over surface. Not always the most fun as well for fans, to be fair. That stadium is not built with football sidelines in mind. The away
Poor
section,
sidelines.
if you are upstairs in the away section, I've been there to visit fans who've made the trip many times.
Yeah.
You can't see a quarter of the field.
Who needs
Like,
to see that,
I don't think you can see the one. It's like a strain to see the one goal. It's awkward. Like, it's just awkward. It's not built for football.
Yes.
And so some of these baseball stadiums at least have the sight lines down. That one does not. And to be fair, that's a bit of a problem. I mean, from a fan perspective, it is. For a player perspective, it's just the fact that, again, the surface is what it is. Not ideal, but you make it work. Yeah, I mean, it was a big one last season there, getting a draw, wasn't it? Dariusz with a late goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, it was good. Given the moment, given what was kind of going down the path, especially as Rising chugging towards a playoff position. We'll have to see. We're a little bit earlier this time around in the season, to say the least. But right, no, I want to get in predictions in a second. We do have you mentioned a couple of the key players. Is there anyone you want to highlight that can really pose a serious threat for Phoenix Rising?
From Rising's side or from their side?
From the El Paso side.
I mean, obviously, there's Lucas Stuffer, who can create chances.
19 of them.
It was going to be Amanda Moreno, really. But again, with the question marks and El Salvador and all of that, right? Those international windows falling around the time that you're playing can wreak havoc with teams. And, maybe it's for the best that Rising doesn't have players being called up. There was a time where they were. I mean, is stuff a fit, Reese says. I mean, yeah, right. We don't know what team we're going to see out of El Paso. Okay? We don't. And so I don't really know what to say in that regard. I really don't.
Yeah. Well,
that's the difficult part here, right? Because they're a good team, but again, they're just not available by and large.
It's definitely a weird one. Well, if you don't really know what to expect from El Paso, this is a perfect time to then ask Owen Evans, can I get a score prediction?
Score prediction.
Chat, chime in as well.
1-1.
Oh, dude, you took mine. Okay, who scores first?
El Paso.
I got Rising scoring first. They've had a habit of scoring first.
So it's going to be a disappointment, is what you're saying, Max.
Does it matter? Okay. Does that actually affect the overall vibe of who scores first? If it's 1-1, if it's the scores line same regardless?
I don't know.
I mean, I think it's gonna be a murky game. Rising score first, which is what they've been doing a lot of these matches. But yeah, so it's a 1-1. I could also see this being a 2-1 in Rising's favor, but I'm gonna go 1-1. All right, let's see. We got Reese in the chat with a little 2-1. For El Paso. Okay.
See, I don't think that Rising lose this game now, simply because of the amount of absences for El Paso.
And a Bluebird,
okay,
1-1.
Presuming that staff is out,
Cabral.
presuming that the 3 guys who got called up are out, you're at a point where 4 players are missing for them, including some of their best players.
Sure.
It's difficult. That's not going to be easy.
You're
going to see a very weakened El Paso team as a result.
Sure.
And we'll have to see, won't we?
Yep, and there's Bluebird in the chat, 1-0 for Phoenix Rising. Cabral bagging the sole goal. While the chat's getting in, Mr. Producer Big Tuna, Jacob Franklin, what do you have for a scoreline? This ought to be good.
6-4 Rising.
What the action? This man is crazy.
I'll tell you what, if it goes 6-4, I'll be impressed.
That's all you got? Oh, if it goes 6-4, I'll be impressed. You're not going to give the man something? Give the man something.
I'm not going to give him anything.
Wager something.
I'm not putting...
Gosh, you are so
Why are you
scared.
volunteering me to
Because that's such a rare scoreline. 10 goals being scored in the match.
Max won't. He just wants me to. Max.
Because I've already wagered. I've already wagered this thing.
Well, that's just because you run your mouth. Like
that's not
you're calling him Big Tuna now. You can give him. You can make the wager.
You know what? This is the Oracle talking. Going man, Pat 0-0. Do
why are you giving him that nickname as well?
I don't know. He's big and
Am I
like
Jim from The Office? Big Tuna?
Don't,
Isn't that what Andy
no
calls
free
Jim?
ads, but yeah, a little bit. Yeah, that's kind of where I got it from. You're my Jim.
You really are Andy.
A little bit, yeah. I can see that.
Yeah.
Totally. Maybe like I'm trying to think.
Punch a hole in the wall for sure.
The shoulder doesn't.
Yet I was also happy.
Doesn't have
I was also
power to
happy
punch
from
a hole
the dwarf. So I was happy, and you were what? Were you grumpy? What were you? Which one are you?
Sneezy.
You're sneezy. Sneezy. I can see. Actually, although we're in tangent real quick. Mac is the sneezy one. Have you heard her sneeze? Clip that one, but yeah, she does it. Anyway, getting back. Yeah, okay. So 0-0. Going on Pat due to Wilmer. I mean, I can see this being a gross match. I don't think there's gonna be a ton of goals, and of course, watches it's 2-2 or 3-3 or 6-4 in Jacob's case. So we'll have to see. Maybe
it could be 6-4.
Jacob just named his height. I think he just put 6'4". Oh, what's my height? Oh, 6'4". That's why. Shit, you're not 6'7". You're 6'7". No, you're not, dude. He's not. You're not 6'7", dude. You're lying. Someone measure Jacob.
You can't
Franklin.
tell him he's lying.
You're not 6'7". I don't believe
he is
you.
a tall man.
Yeah, he's not 6'7" tall. I'd say he's probably closer
Right,
to 6'4".
let's get back on track.
Are
Max.
you
Shut up and read an ad.
insecure right now, Max?
What's that?
Are you insecure? Is that why you're telling
He
me
is
I'm not
insecure.
tall?
I'm very
Max
confident in
is
my average height.
always insecure. Come on, now Max, read an ad.
I actually have a silent confidence. It's
Ad
actually
man,
the
read
op-
an ad.
It's actually the opposite.
Ad man, read an ad.
You will not tell me to read an ad. You
Ad
can
man, give me an ad.
You can say read an ad. I will just
Ad
keep on.
man, give me an ad.
If you say please, maybe I will.
No.
Then I will keep going. All right, so
Please.
let's. What's that?
Please.
Jacob wants to go home.
This is so fun. Don't he's looking.
Give us an ad, Max. We can get on with the football talk. Come on.
I will, but there's going to be a nice seamless transition. If you keep on demanding it, it's not going to happen like this. This is good. Tells you. See, going on Pat, more likely for Rising, conceding a pen or getting a player sent off. That is
Both.
a great question.
Both.
Yeah, definitely both, and it's in the same sequence. It's in the
Right.
same sequence.
Yeah, sounds good.
One leads to another. But if you're going to get sent off, might you go to our friends at Four Peaks Brewery for a beer? That's right. Now we're talking. Four Peaks Brewery.
That's a bit aggressive,
It's a great place to go get a beer if you get sent off from the El Paso Phoenix
It's also
Rising
a bit
match.
far from the stadium.
Well,
in that
good
case.
thing they are located everywhere throughout the darn country because you can find them at fourpeaks.com with their beer locator. You can, get a nice little kill lifter, a wow, a hazy, their Bad Birdie Juicy Golden Ale, so to speak, as Jacob scans for the lower third. That should be on the screen. But yes, it's going to look even better on screen, but it's going to be even
labeled
better.
FP.
It's going to be even better when it's in your mouth and down your gullet because Four Peaks is so darn delicious. Delicioso. Check out Four Peaks, their Bad Birdie Juicy Golden Ale. Again, you can find it at their 8th Street Pub, and you can find them so many other places. But again, check them out at fourpeaks.com to keep up with the latest, greatest going on at Arizona's hometown brewery. Find them at a brewery near you. You must be 20 years or older to enjoy responsibly.
Unfortunately, not in El Paso. I did just look. Again, I want to go to Albuquerque. The hotel has it.
There we
Kill
go.
lifter on.
Boom.
Which I'll take.
There we go. Boom. And also, you can get Four Peaks at our friends at Valley Taproom. Valley Taproom. We can, get some beers there. Have a good time for some Four Peaks, some wine, spritzers,
Max,
little
I
coolers.
hear we're gonna have. I don't know. Maybe we'll have an excuse to go to Valley Taproom in the
We
near
will.
future.
Yeah, a little cope
We're
action.
looking at a certain afternoon spent there, maybe.
Oh yeah, that's
Long
right.
afternoon.
Oh
Let's
yeah,
put it
that's
that
right.
way.
Oh yeah, that's right. Don't forget about that. That's a good call.
We'll give you more details on that as and when.
Give you more details as well, and also keep on. But by the way, on Four Peaks, going back to them real quick, make sure to follow us at PHNX __rising with some big news dropping very soon, very very soon. Hint hint, cough cough. USA Copa matches.
Max, you're coughing.
Excuse me. Yes.
Is he well?
Valley Taproom. I'm well enough to be there.
Get a beer in you, Max. You'll be better.
I'm going to get them at Valley Taproom because they have so many choices to choose from. Again, they have 2 locations, Gilbert and Queen Creek. Check them out on the east side at valleytaproom.com. Follow them on social at Valley Taproom. And yeah, go have a good one. Have a cold one at Valley Taproom. All right. It's the moment we've all been waiting for. We do have a couple things to talk about, but buddy, I got to ask, how was your trip?
Long. Felt it.
That is all you have.
Yeah,
that is all you want to tell the people.
Dire, mate.
Yeah.
Dire.
How'd Wales do?
It was dire.
Oh. Well, which one was the worst? The draw to no, this is a serious question. The draw to Gibraltar.
Probably the first one, yeah.
Okay, that was the one.
Yeah. Rob Page has got to go. He's got to go.
Can you?
No, because if I start going off on that, it's going down a rabbit hole that we don't want to go down.
Well, I can say 2 things.
He's got to go.
Either he's robbing you of joy, or you're not on the same page as him. Am I right?
And good night, everybody.
Yeah, good night, everyone.
Oh,
Bye.
boy.
Bye.
All right, how was the good beer?
Max, why are your puns the level of Rob Page's management, mate?
You're saying trying hard, but just maybe not hitting the mark? I've left him speechless.
Atrocious.
I've left him speechless. All right, well, I'm glad
he
you
says that like it's a good thing. Max, why are we doing this? Right. Let's talk football. Other football. Euros, right? We got some predictions on the Euros.
There are some, yes.
Let's go with some predictions on the Euros.
You first.
All right, we're going to start tossing up our predictions for the groups. Who are we going to start with?
Jacob, who do you want first? Me, Owen, or the Lackey?
Lackey, because I like him the most.
Lackey. Well, we like the Lackey.
It's a low bar.
Nice little picture of Reese up at the top there, by the way. That's Reese dressed as a hot dog.
It's freaking terrifying.
It is terrifying. He's got Germany winning Group A with Hungary in second. Italy winning Group B with Spain in second. England winning Group C with Serbia in second. France winning Group D with the Netherlands in second. Belgium winning Group E with Slovakia in second. And Portugal winning Group F with Turkey in second. Third place teams, of course, 4 of the third place teams go through. It's going to be Croatia, Austria, Scotland, and Denmark. So that's an interesting one there. Reese, you got anything to add? He thinks England out in the quarters. You know, funnily enough, that matches with my predictions as well. England will be out in the quarterfinals. I've got him losing to
Should we
Spain.
switch over to you, Owen?
Yeah, go with me if you want. So I'll give you a little bit of a rundown here about what I'm going with. I'm going with Germany to win Group A and Switzerland in second. I don't think Hungary are going to be that good. I know there's been some support for that elsewhere. Italy and Spain, presumably going out through from Group B. I think Italy win that group. England and Slovenia I'm going with. This was a really awkward toss-up, and you know why? Because I took England to win the group, obviously because it's a weak group. Hey, it's England. They draw weak groups. And then when I ran through the results I was predicting for each of these games, I had draws in every other game. So it came down to head-to-head goals scored.
Gosh.
Okay? And that put Slovenia through in Group C. I've got France winning Group D with the Netherlands in second. Belgium topping Group E with Romania in second. Portugal, I think, have got enough. They're a serious candidate at times. Other times, not so much. The Czech Republic will sneak in second, I think, out of that group. I'm going to take Scotland, Turkey, Croatia, and Austria in those third place spots going on through. Sorry, Dariusz, I don't think Poland are very good. I think they will crash out in the group stages. Right, Max? Walk me through yours, mate. I've also got England in the quarters, by the way, out.
Fair.
Okay, Max, how are you looking?
Yes, of course. Well, I also host Germany, have them topping Group A. Hungary coming in second. Group B, that is just an absolutely loaded one. I mean, if you're going to talk, I guess in a way that's a group of death pseudo, but right, it's going to be Italy topping the group, Spain coming in second. You really could do a toss-up on that one, but I don't know. Spain, they have a ton of talent, but this is kind of a going off a vibes thing. Croatia, honestly, I didn't even have them in the top 2 because they don't do well in Euros, and also they're kind of past their peak with the guys that are in their squad.
Do you think Switzerland finished last in that group?
I do.
No, sorry, third. Sorry, you do have them in there.
Yeah.
I'm getting confused with my groups.
I was going to say, you took me a second. Yes,
wow. No, they finished third behind.
Yeah.
Scotland finished last.
Yeah, so I have Croatia. Okay. I've finished last in the group, and then let's see, we have Group C. Right, I have England topping the group.
I'm shocked with Serbia in second for you.
This is just it's a vibes, man. You think about process of elimination. Denmark, they're kind of like, I think they're kind of overhyped at this point. And then you're going after Slovenia. Tis what it is. the heck? Where my freaking things go,
You're
Jacob?
taking so freaking
Why have
long.
you
Put it
got
back
Roma-
on.
Okay, France,
Group-
Netherlands, easy, but no one's going to argue that.
Group D,
Group
France.
E. Why have you got Romania over Belgium?
All right, this is the easy one. It's a vibes. Belgium
Romania
is
drew
done.
0-0 with Liechtenstein.
Don't matter. That's
in a
how it
friendly
goes.
that just
Radu
happened.
Dragusin, baby.
Oh.
He's bringing it back. Let's go. Belgium, dude, I just don't see it. They underwhelm in big tournaments. They'll squeak through, but they're not winning. Thank me later. Thank me later.
Not with that
Thank
group.
me later. And then Group F, Portugal getting it done over Turkey going into second place. This is kind of like a wide open, honestly, in that second spot. And then third place, Switzerland, Denmark, Croatia, and Slovakia in that order, especially for Slovakia. Nice little pummeling of Wales, and they're going to kind of use that momentum.
Yeah, they didn't look that good in that friendly. We were just
4-0, it's really hard.
Yeah, we were that bad. All right, Max, who's going to win it? I've got France, by the way. I'm putting that out there now before anything else.
Ooh,
Max,
it's a
who you taking to win
a
it?
little too easy. I'm gonna go with Spain.
You're going to go with Spain?
Going with Spain.
Lackey, who are you taking to win it? Spain?
Spain has
two Spains and a France. Okay.
Yeah.
Spain's
got that young core, man. They got a lot to be excited about.
I will say this now. Let's do a cheeky little see how we do in this one. 3 points if you get the teams on that sheet in the exact right position. 1 point if they do go through to the round of 16.
Winner gets beers on
right
Owen.
position.
Sick.
No, it's not winner gets
Well,
beers
actually,
on
Reese is a lad, so
You
we
just want
can't
to
get it.
see.
You get
But
a
also,
nice
if you want to play
juice
along
box.
at home, just tweet them at us and we'll score you up as well.
We'll
So
score.
yeah, just give us the winners and runners up from each group, and then the 4 third place teams that'll go through.
You can tweet us as well at PHNX__rising. Get in the Discord as well. Yes, of course.
Maybe I'll tweet the template out and let people just.
Maybe. How about
have
you
fun.
just do it? Be a nice guy.
I'll do it if I feel like it.
Do it because you're a nice guy. You're a man of the people. You're the Oracle.
Max,
The
why
Oracle.
do you do this?
The Oracle. Alrighty. Any more football talk?
Damon, why is he like this? I don't know. It's just Max being Max.
It's an eclectic
Nice
personality.
little shrug there.
People love it.
Anything
Or they
else
hate
to
it.
talk about? You said.
I was curious anything on the football side. Otherwise, I do want to shout out. We do have a new collection that dropped at the PHNX locker, baby. It is looking so beautiful. You got to check it out. If you haven't, we're talking tanks. We're talking a little taco truck, everything like that. It is the Valley collection. The Valley collection looking so beautiful. A little collegiate tee in there as well. Little D-backs action. All kinds of great stuff they have going on. Again, look how darn beautiful it is. A little collaboration with State 48 as well. Again, check it out. Go to the phnxlocker.com. All this new merch looking so beautiful. And again, if you're a diehard, get a shirt for free of your choice. And if you haven't become a diehard, go sign up. You get a shirt of your free of choice. Super easy to do. Again, phnxlocker.com to get all of that done. But without further ado, I think we are good on this one. Appreciate everyone joining us here on the PHNX __ Rising podcast. That's where you can follow us on Twitter because double the _
Double the. I don't know at this point.
double the Owen returns for this episode. You can follow us on Twitter at Max David Sims. You can follow the Oracle on Twitter at
Max,
OJ.
you can't make this a thing.
I'm gonna make it a thing, whether you like it or not. You follow the Oracle.
Reese is just shaking his head.
That's okay.
It's not even a good one.
It'll catch on only for me, and I'll take it. Follow the Oracle at OJ Evans 18. You can follow
Max
Stalacky
is just a
Reese.
walking, talking cringe at this.
You follow Stalacky Reese at Reese11 _. Only the 1 _ for the lad. You can follow. We'll give Damon Dog a shout. You can follow Damon Dog on Twitter at Damon DAWG. And of course, you can follow Jacob Franklin somewhere. People know where. I don't have to say it. He's a good guy. Just search him on Twitter. It's there.
Double the misery of Rod
Double
Page
the misery
games.
of Rod Page games. Yes, there we go.
Yes.
Again, appreciate everyone joining
Ouch.
us. We'll be back post game per usual, but it's a beautiful game. But it's so more beautiful. We got some extra bonus soccer to look forward to. A little Euros action. All the fun. Good night, everyone.
We all silly like the mayor.